that I have is blessed. All that I give is blessed. All that I am is blessed, blessed. All that I have is enough. All that I give is enough. All that I am is enough, blessed.
Good morning and welcome to the Unity of Bellevue meditation service. I am Jennifer Holt, a prayer chaplain here, and I'll be leading our meditation this morning. I will start with a guided portion. This will be followed by a period of silence for about 10 minutes, and then I will complete the meditation before 10:20. I invite you to relax into your chair and close your eyes. So get comfortable in your chair, find the right position to lean your back against the seat or wherever you are. And close your eyes if you haven't already. Rest your hands on your lap. You may have your palms open for a receiving pose. So let's just take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. We remember that God is all there is. God is centered in all its creation. God is centered in each one of us right now. The truth of God is the truth of each one of us. God is unbounded, good, and beyond any concepts of what we have as good. Today we experience some of that good that God is in our true nature. Right now, I invite you to notice any thoughts that pull you away from this moment, choosing to put them aside just for right now. I invite you to relax your area around your eyes, relax your jaw, feel a half smile form, then let your shoulders comfortably drop. Notice any area of tension in your body and breathe into that area with a slow outward breath. We will be experiencing God qualities this morning as the truth of each of us. First, allow to accept the gift of love. Imagine love growing out from your heart, filling your torso, your arms, your hands, your legs, your feet, and up to the top of your head. The all-embracing love that God is expressing in you, with no conditions, no judgments. You can say to yourself, I accept this gift of love right now. Another God quality is joy. I accept the gift of joy today. Joy that rises up from an unlimited, ever-renewing source within. Joy that is independent of any external conditions. This is a gift of God, pressing forth to express as you, always available in you, Smile as you accept this gift of joy today. I accept the gift of peace today, the peace that passes understanding. Feel your body relax and settle into God's peace. Feel your mind settle into this peace, this quiet state, knowing that there is a center of peace within you. Always available, always ready, always there. I accept this gift of peace today. Breathe in, breathe out. I accept the gift of beauty today. I choose to see with the eyes of God, delighting in the beauty of the sunsets, sunrises, forests, flowers, snow, star-filled skies, the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Let this experience of beauty fill your being, remembering that you are the expression of God's beauty also. I accept the gift of beauty today. I accept the gift of vision today. God is wisdom and vision. Since God is centered within me, there's a wellspring of vision and clarity within me. I choose to tap into this today. I'm guided in all my thoughts, my actions, in clear vision and clarity. I accept this gift of wisdom today. All these gifts are available through God in you. All these gifts are from God. God is all there is, and God is everywhere. We will soon move into a 10 minutes of silence. I invite you to continue to embody the gifts of God into the silence, to know that love, joy, peace, beauty, vision, clarity are yours right now, and your right to claim them. We begin now with our 10 minutes of silence. Excuse me. I invite you to bring your attention back to the breath. Knowing that you can experience the qualities of God anytime, regardless of your external conditions, for God is centered in its fullness in you. Let yourself be lifted in this awareness of your true essence. You are God in expression. I invite you to open your eyes gently. Comfortably open your eyes and know that this meditation has enriched us. Thank you for joining the meditation today. Your participation has lifted us into a higher vibration. I know that we are all blessed as we move into the rest of this day and this week. I also invite you to participate in our Sunday morning service at 10:30. As a prayer chaplain, we also welcome your prayer requests. Please join us after the service in the library for prayer circle, or you can email prayer requests to prayerchaplains@unitybellevue.org. Each of the prayer chaplains hold your prayer daily during the week. If you would like a prayer chaplain to call you, please say so in your email. Thank you for this time together, and thank you for this meditation. Thank you.
Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. Think I finally learned, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I've survived many times before, broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be alright, yes I will, once more, just as I did back then. I'm gonna rise again, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. So bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new.
Can I just let go? Can I just the darkness will fade. Pray to let go, let go, let go. Let go, let God, let go, let go. You and I.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue. We are so glad you are joining us in person and online. We welcome you to Epiphany Sunday. Epiphany Sunday is the traditional Sunday where we celebrate the wise men greeting the Christ child. It comes exactly 13 days after Christmas, following the 12 days of Christmas. And metaphysically, it's about celebrating the divine light that guides us into our own Christ consciousness. So we are very glad that you are here. We welcome you in the light, in the love that exists in each and every one of us and all of us together. First of all, I want to give a big thanks to all the people who are making this day happen. We've got a lot of volunteers, so thank you for that. And also to our holiday decorating crew. We noticed the absence of our beautiful tree and the decorations, and so we just want to give a big shout out to all those who volunteered to decorate our beautiful facility for the holidays. Linda Hillesheim and others did that, so thank you. Jennifer Holt is our meditation facilitator. Thank you, Jennifer, for that great meditation. Lori Coleman is our prayer chaplain today. Dorothy Bostetter is our board host. And we had a little switcheroo. Our guest artist, who is new to us, got sick at the last minute. So our favorite guest artist from Hawaii, Faith Rivera, sent us some music videos, some new ones. So we're grateful to her. And we have Jamie Sassy and Becca Palm back to lead us in a congregational song. And they are going to start us off with My Soul is Welcome Here.
Good morning, everybody. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
We invoke the light that is within, that is the source of all life. The light that guides us into greater love, joy, and peace, that guides us into the greatest possibilities of our divine unfolding as individuals and as a community where all are welcome here. We breathe in into that sacred light within, expanding it, resting in it. We breathe in together again, allowing Spirit to breathe us into being, to inspire us, to enliven us in this moment. We affirm this time, this service is sacred. We commit this time as sacred service to the beloved and to the beloved community. We are so grateful, and so it is.
I close my eye, I open my heart, I take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat that's calling, calling, calling us to rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. I ready my soul, I clear my mind, I'm here and now, in present time. Of 1,000 suns, light of the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Love's calling, 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 calling out your name. Love's calling, 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 calling. It's why we came. Love's calling, 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 calling out your name. Love's calling, calling, calling. It's why we came. Come on and rise, oh rise, Spirit rise up, rise in me, oh rise, come on and rise, oh Spirit rise up, rise in me, rise in me.
My name is Monica McDowell Elvig. I'm your center administrator, and for a temporary time, I will be taking on some operational duties of the minister until an interim is chosen or another decision is made. So it's a little odd to be giving my own bio, to reading my own bio, but some of you know a lot about me, and others of you don't know much at all, so I thought I would just give you some highlights. First of all, I'm a fifth-generation Washingtonian. I have great-grandfathers on both sides of my families that are ministers, so it runs in the family. I graduated college here in Seattle and then married and eventually made it to Princeton Seminary, where I graduated with a Master of Divinity in Spiritual Care and Counseling. Following seminary, I was a chaplain for adults with disabilities. And then after that, I was a minister at a small, very old congregation, over 300 years old, older than the country. It had been established by the governor of the colony of New Jersey at the time, who had been appointed by the King of England. So there's some interesting history with that church, and I was there for a few years. Then we moved back to Seattle, and I stepped into my saga, which I will not go into at all this morning, but if you want to know about it, it's in my book, My Karma Ran Over My Dogma. And during that saga, I had my spiritual awakening to Christ consciousness, and that shifted me into being an energy healer and writing books and teaching and lecturing and so forth and setting up a private practice. And then 3.5 years, I started here. So here we are. We're all caught up now. So a little bit. Today is Epiphany Sunday. In Princeton, we obviously were taught the traditional way to interpret Scripture, and I just thought I would highlight some of those things because they're a little different than the metaphysical way, but I think we end up in roughly the same place. So as I was taught and how I interpret Scripture is, first of all, I just read the text for the plain sense of the meaning. Just what is it saying? Just basic understanding. And then I go a little deeper and look at the historical and the cultural and the literary contexts of what was happening at the time or what was going on with the author that we think of or the audience. We look at all the different details and study those things. And then, this was one of my favorite parts, we go to the original languages or as close to the original languages as we can get and do the translations ourselves to get at as close as we can to the author's original intent, because there's always translation bias and there's always things lost in translation. So that was always really the most exciting part for me, was to get as close as I could to that origin of that story. And then, once we've got all those layers looked at, then we dig for the spiritual jewels. We start our spiritual practice on the text, praying and meditating and looking for what is the Spirit saying to me or to us at this time through these words. And that's where I think it joins up with a metaphysical interpretation. It finally comes in at the end there. So a couple of things that I do want to note about that is that the common notion is that there were 3 wise men, but nowhere in the text does it say that there were 3. It says that there were 3 types of gifts given: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But at that time, travel was very dangerous, and so it was most likely a caravan that came to visit Jesus, safety in numbers, and they would have been on foot or on camel or on donkey or some combination. So just take that into note, that there was a caravan, most likely. And it also, in the traditional scene, we see the wise men at the nativity. But if you look closely at the text, after the story that we're going to read today, it says that Herod goes and has all of the Jewish boys killed, murdered, up to 2 years old, based on the time that the wise men had told him. So it could be that with the travel time and distance and this clue, that Jesus was almost 2 years old by the time the wise men visited. He was a child, perhaps. So just a couple of notes. Let's listen then to the words of Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. Listen with your spiritual ears to the divine word to you today. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet, 'And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people, Israel.'" Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child. And when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. We bless this reading, allowing it into our hearts to transform us into the light, into more of the light we already are. So it is. For our affirmation this morning, I'm going to read it through once myself, and you can just listen and allow the meaning and the import to flow in and to settle in, and then we'll read it together as a community in one voice. I open myself to the new, releasing all that has been, embracing all that is, inviting all that is to come. I stand in the knowing that love and peace are my true reality. I enter this new year full of the promise of all the good that is already happening now for me and for Unity of Bellevue. And so it is. Let's affirm together. I open myself to the new, releasing all that has been, embracing all that is, inviting all that is to come. I stand in the knowing that love and peace are my true reality. I enter this new year full of the promise of all the good that is already happening now for me and for Unity of Bellevue. And so it is.
One small step I take today. One small thing to start a change. I'm just one, but when it's begun, there's no there's room left for me. I can love so much deeper, 'cause there's love for me, and my life, it is richer than I've ever seen. Now I'm free. Oh, I'm free. One big world I find today. One big leap I get to take. I am the one who's walked, now I'll run. There's no stopping me now. No. Once I open my heart, now there's room left for me. I can love so much deeper, 'cause there's love for me, and my life, it is richer than I've ever seen. Now I'm free. Oh, I'm free, free at last. I'm free, yeah. I'm the one who's walked, now I'll run, then fly. Once I open my heart, now there's room left for me. I can love so much deeper, 'cause there's love for me, and my life, it is richer than I've ever seen. Now I'm free. So you're free, yeah. Oh, we're free. Now I'm free.
That's for later. Were the wise men really wise? I must ask this question because nowhere in the Greek text does it say that they are wise. In Greek, it says that they are magi, and the magi were a caste of priests, probably from Persia, modern-day Iran, men who specialized in astrology, the natural sciences, and medicine. They were the science and medical professors and practitioners of their day. So they were smart, intelligent, and knowledgeable. But were they wise? In fact, there's quite a bit of evidence to the contrary in the first 12 verses of Matthew chapter 2. Quite a bit of evidence to suggest that maybe the wise men weren't so wise after all. But before we go any further, let's check Webster's dictionary meaning for the word wisdom. According to Webster, wisdom is applied knowledge, appropriate to the situation. So then it's not enough to be knowledgeable in order to be wise. One must apply that knowledge and apply it appropriately in order to be wise. So again, I ask, were the wise men wise? Let's begin at the beginning. A group of foreigners arrive in Jerusalem where King Herod rules, and they start asking around, maybe around the marketplace, maybe on the streets, maybe even daring to approach the Jewish temple. Where's the child who's been born King of the Jews? We're trying to find him. We want to honor him. Do you know where he is? And of course, no one quite knows what to make of these foreigners asking such a strange question. It creates a bit of a stir in all of Jerusalem. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a Trekkie. I have watched all the Trekkie movies and almost all of the TV shows. And you may remember Star Trek IV, where Captain Kirk travels back in time to save the whales, right? They travel back to capture 2 humpback whales because future Earth is threatened and humpbacks are extinct, and only humpbacks will save the planet in the future. And spoiler alert, they are saved. Captain Kirk always wins. But they are transported back to modern-day San Francisco in that movie. And there are a lot of scenes where Captain Kirk and Spock and the rest of the crew are walking around and they're making fools of themselves. Spock has a bandana wrapped around his ears and they don't know what money is, and they just create a lot of very awkward situations, and everybody assumes that they're in a cult, or maybe they have mental health issues, or they're on drugs. So even though they are incredibly intelligent and knowledgeable people, put them in a different context, and they look incredibly foolish. Perhaps it was similar when the Magi arrived in Jerusalem. They're dressed funny, they have a strange accent, they're asking strange questions. Who's been born King of the Jews? They create such a stir that the news even reaches King Herod himself. You'd almost think King Herod would laugh it off, it's so absurd. But when King Herod hears of it, he is frightened. The Greek word means terrified. King Herod, Herod the Great, terrified at the news that a baby's been born. And news that comes by strange men in strange clothes that talk funny and arrive from a foreign country. He is terrified, for this news, after all, is threatening, even if it is from strange men. King Herod, was over the Jews. He himself was not Jewish, but he was appointed as king over the Jews, and so he had that title. So any news of a new king of the Jews would be a threat to him. That new king was a threat to his power, his greatness, his name. And King Herod himself was so afraid of being threatened that he'd already had his Jewish wife and Jewish sons murdered so that they wouldn't plot to kill him first. And so again I ask, were the wise men wise? They walked into a king's territory, a notorious king's territory at that, and started asking around, hey, where's the new king? They might have had a lot of knowledge, but in that situation, they were not wise. They were rather clueless in the ways of the world. It was not politically astute to do what they did. Now, I have a situation in my life that is possible to, similar in some ways. So I'm going to tell you about it. First of all, there's a picture of me. Back when I was in college, back in Seattle, our college had teams that went out all over the world during the summer for service projects. And I went to the northern Philippines, in northern Luzon, up into the tribal mountains, G-String and Spears tribe. And there I am, landing in Pewang for the first time. They're touching my hair. I can't believe it. And then the next slide, it shows the Banawi rice terraces. It was very close to the famous Banawi rice terraces. A gorgeous, gorgeous area. We were there for 2 months. We helped build a community center. And then we did some traveling afterwards for fun and for some rest and recreation after the hard 8 weeks of building and doing construction. So we went to Hong Kong. And in Hong Kong, we met up with our Hong Kong team that had already been there all summer. Now, first of all, please understand, these were my evangelical days. I was a progressive evangelical, but still evangelical, so take that into context. So the Hong Kong team said that they had met up with a group while they were there that took Bibles into China. Now, Bibles going into China was not illegal, but it was not exactly smiled upon. But the group said, well, the worst thing that could happen is that your Bibles will be confiscated and you'll be sent back to Hong Kong. So we were like, okay, we'll do it. So the strategy was that we would divide and conquer so that if some of the Bibles were found, not all of them would be found. So the 8 of us separated into 3 different groups. Some went on a bus, some went on a train, and we were going into Guangzhou, Canton. And the last group was just me and my friend Tammy, and we were taking the train into Guangzhou. And we just had duffel bags. You know, the Bibles were just loosely wrapped in clothes. That was it. Nothing too sophisticated. So we got into Guangzhou, and the place where they had you check everything, you know, customs, and they check your visa, and they check your immunizations, all of that. It is a huge, at the time, a huge airplane hangar size building. And open air, there were thousands of travelers jam-packed into this place. And there were 7 stations. At each station, they did a different thing. And then the very last station, station number 7, is where they scanned the bags. And then there was a table after that they could check and open your bags to look in them if they wanted to. And then it was out the door. So we got through, Tammy and I got through all 6 stations, and we were at the 7th station. And we decided that we should do divide and conquer as well, which wasn't terribly smart to begin with, because if one person got through and the other person didn't, we would be separated, and someone would be stranded in Hong Kong with no housing, and that would have been me, because I was the last person. So Tammy went through, and she got through just fine. Now I need to explain something about the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt where they scanned your bags was this huge communist monstrosity. It was yay high, and it was about 12 feet long. And then at the end of this conveyor belt were 2 panels that were vertical. There was no top on it. They were just 2 vertical panels. And on the other side of this huge conveyor belt was several guards, Chinese guards, and all the guards had machine guns or rifles. They were all armed. And they were looking at monitors. They were sitting there looking at the monitors to see as the x-rays went through, to monitor them. So I was a few people back. Tammy had gone through, and I'm a little stressed. I'm not paying a whole lot of attention. I'm zooming a little, zoning out a little bit. And I've got my duffel bag on my shoulder, and I'm just standing there going like this. And all of a sudden, I feel my elbow being tapped. And I turn and look, and one of the guards points to me and points to the conveyor belt. My turn, right? For some reason that I do not understand, even today, I thought he wanted me to get on the conveyor belt. And so I scaled this thing, and it was really high, right? I scaled this thing, and I'm going down the conveyor belt. And, I'm jerking around, and I think, I don't remember seeing Tammy get up here, and then I'm looking over the side, and the guards are screaming and yelling, and they're standing up, and I think, oh, something's really wrong. I wonder what's wrong. And then the conveyor belt jerks, just halts really fast. Oh, and I think, oh, that's what's wrong. It's broken. And then I look at this sea of thousands and thousands of Chinese travelers, and they're all looking at me, and they're all going like this. And it finally dawns on me what I have done, and I go, and I start laughing and laughing, and that gives permission to everybody to start laughing. All of the guards are laughing and laughing. It was a common bonding moment for the several thousand of us. So I nonchalantly hop off and go to the guard that's at the table where they open the bags, and I go, you want to look, a humble offering, and he's bent over, he's laughing so hard, he's just like, no, go, and he waved me on out the door with my Bibles never having been scanned or inspected. And that guard who was waving me on, he was thinking, she is too stupid to smuggle. She is too foolish to be a spy. No need to check her bags. And you know, that is what King Herod determines about these wise men as well. They're too stupid to be real spies. They're too foolish, political fools. So he decides to manipulate their naivete. He calls for them, supposedly secretly, surreptitiously, and then sends them on a mission. Go to Bethlehem. Spy out the town for me. Search diligently for this child, and then come and tell me so I can honor him along with you. And they buy it. The so-called wise men don't see through the sheepskin to see the wolf. They fall for this ruse. It says in verse 9, as soon as they heard the king, they set out. They hadn't a clue they were being used for harm. Were the wise men wise? I think not. They were not wise in the ways of the world, and because of their naivete, the child Jesus is now in jeopardy, and a series of events have been set in motion that leads to the slaughtering of the innocents. Of course, that is on Herod, not on them. But their gullibleness now means Jesus and his family are on the run, and a bunch of children are dead. Not too wise. God has to intervene to get the Magi to clue in. Verse 12, but being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, the Magi left for their own country by another road. God had to intervene. And listen to the rest of the chapter. In verse 13, after the Magi had left, an angel appears to Joseph in a dream and says, get up, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him. Then in verse 19, when Herod dies, another angel appears to Joseph in Egypt. Get up, take the child and his mother and go back to Israel. And Joseph does. And then in verse 22, when Joseph discovers it's Herod's son that's now on the throne, he's afraid and he has another dream where he is warned and he moves to Galilee, to Nazareth. So there is a pattern then that emerges in this chapter. Were the wise men wise? Certainly not in the ways of the world, but perhaps they were wise in the ways of God. Why? Because they are interruptible. Like Joseph was interruptible. Otherwise, why would busy, smart Persian men go 800 miles to Jerusalem to see a newborn Jewish king? Because they were interrupted by a star. And they are interrupted later by a dream. Just like Joseph and Mary are interrupted by dreams. The only person in this chapter who isn't interruptible is Herod. He has one agenda and one agenda only, his power. And he does not stray from that path. Frank Lloyd Wright, one of America's great and creative architects, shares a story of a defining moment in his childhood. Little Frank went on a walk with his uncle one time in the winter. It was snowy, and they walked through the back country. They had an errand to do at a distant barn. When they got to where they were going, his uncle had him turn around and said, now look at our footprints in the snow. Look at where we've been. My footprints go in a straight line. But yours, they go from over to the fence, over to the woods, over to the rock, over here, zigzagging and zigzagging all the way. I learned a long time ago, Frank, that the only way to make it in life is to set a goal and go straight for it. And Frank says about that moment that it changed him forever because he determined not to miss everything in life like his uncle had. As I look back over my life and even the past few years, my life looks much more like a zigzag than a straight line. And I hope that is because I've been interruptible, because I've been listening closely to divine guidance. I hope you too know what it means to have the divine interrupt your plans. You've probably heard the saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell God your plans. It comes from a Yiddish proverb, we plan, God laughs. And that's not to say that setting goals and intentions and affirmations are pointless or a foolish thing. No, they are good things. They are essential things. They are important keys as we co-create this community of unity of Bellevue into a more loving place. And as we co-create our world into a world that works for everyone. We set intentions and goals, we say affirmations, and we let go. We release our attachment to outcomes even to the direction, to the form that it might manifest in. We're flexible. We can pivot. We want to pivot because the divine mind, the divine vision sees all possible outcomes, sees everything, and we are in touch with that divine mind, that divine heart that has so much more for each and every one of us, more beyond anything that we can imagine or envision ourselves. And it's important for us to learn to pivot, to be interruptible. Things are shifting so rapidly now around the world. Just think about how much we've had to be flexible around COVID. We must learn to be okay with suddenly changing directions because God loves interruptions. Jesus himself divides Western history into two different eras. That's a great interruption, before and after. And I know the awakening I had over 20 years ago into Christ consciousness divided my life into before and after. Martha Beck has been a teacher for me. She's written a lot of books. This was her first well-known book, Expecting Adam. She wrote it about her pregnancy with a Down syndrome baby while she was a doctoral student at Harvard. And after this book, she became fairly well-known and became Oprah's life coach and started writing monthly columns for the Oprah magazine. And at the end of that pregnancy, it had been a torturous one for health reasons, but it had also been a miraculous one. She had really foregone spirituality and religion totally in her education at Harvard. And but this pregnancy had spurred all sorts of miracles and the idea that the spiritual was real. At the very end of the pregnancy, she hit bottom. She was exhausted. She could not do anything more. And she said out loud, knowing somebody was listening, she said, "I'm sorry. I can't. It's too much. I can't. Please, please." What I remember most about that moment was a sense of letting go. For the first time, I prayed without ever trying to control what the answer might be. At the moment when I stopped fighting for control of my little universe, I noticed something that had been there all along, except I hadn't seen it. It was slightly to the left of me, maybe 18 inches off the floor. It was a person, or rather a person's feet. That was all I saw, a pair of bare feet standing in the air with the hem of a robe falling around the ankles. I didn't even bother to look up at the person's body or face. Some of the few people I told about this experience asked me why not. All I can say is when you are reunited with the love of your life, you don't hold yourself at arm's length. This being wasn't unfamiliar to me at all. I wasn't surprised or stunned or frightened. I felt the natural order of the universe had been restored, not disturbed, and I was immensely, overwhelmingly relieved. And so I simply leaned forward, letting my forehead rest against those suspended feet, and began to cry like a child who had been found after being lost in a storm. "I've waited so long," I sobbed. "I've waited so long." What amazed me more than the physical presence in the room was the love that came with it. I felt as though I were caught in a glowing tidal wave of love. A love so strong that all the pain on earth couldn't even begin to put a dent into it. I have sometimes wondered why I didn't feel cheated at having spent so many terrible days on earth before I found that love again. But once I was back within it, all the frustration and loneliness I had ever suffered seemed completely inconsequential. I was still crying, my forehead resting against those feet, when I felt two strong hands reach under my arms and pull me gently upward. I had the impression I was being lifted up out of my body, which was still kneeling on the floor. I, the part of me that constitutes my identity, was lifted away from it into an embrace so sweet that for years and years and years, it never for a single second left my mind. I don't know how long it lasted, maybe 30 seconds, maybe 10 minutes, not more than that. Whatever it was, my entire existence still hinges on that brief interruption. It is the center point for me, the single event that divides my life into before and after. For some people, divine interruptions are troubling, even terrifying and threatening. But for others, when they see the divine at work, interruptions included, they rejoice exceedingly with great joy. The first are wise in the ways of the world, the latter are wise in the ways of the divine. Let us determine in this new year to be wise in the ways of the divine, determined to be interruptible and open to divine leading, determined not to miss all the incredible things God has for us and for you, as Frank Lloyd Wright's uncle did, as Herod did. Let us be wise people who may sometimes look and act very foolish, but are indeed willing to act out the very wisdom of God, to go in bold new directions, to be interrupted by a sign, a star, a synchronicity, an angel, a presence, the still small voice that whispers to us in meditation, let go. Let's go in a new direction. Let's take a different path home. Let's take the path full of love. Let's pray. We turn within to the one light, the bright light, the starlight that burns eternally within us, guiding us home. We breathe in deeply, seeing that light within expand into our heart, into our mind, into our entire body. Feel that light. We see this light expanding in us and then all around us so that we are inside this light. Our whole body is filled with this light, and this light surrounds our body. And now we see this light in everyone here and everyone joining in online. And it starts to connect. All of these little lights start to connect and join into one big light, reuniting in this huge wave of light and of love. We expand this light again into the cities where we are, enveloping the whole city, seeing everybody's lights shining, and to the whole state, the country, the continent, and the whole planet now is filled with this light, surrounded by it. All sentient life, all beings are filled with light and love. And we come back to our own heart light. We are one. We are love. We are home. We are. And so it is.
I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believing what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver, of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything. I am called pain has run too deep. We are called to be compassion, be the wind beneath each wing. We are called to make communion, only then can we succeed. We are called to be a prayer, living out the truth we seek. We are called to be everything. We are called to be, yeah, called to be the glory here on earth so almighty. All the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. We are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be peace, called to be joy. We're called to be the kindness, forgiveness, compassion, called to be. It's you and me. Oh, we're called to be.
Good morning. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Reverend Monica. That was beautiful. I almost don't know what to say. I was raised in the Catholic Church and had to read the Bible and know the Christmas story, and I love having a new interpretation. I love the word interruptible, and I know that we're all being interrupted, if nothing else but COVID, and we are in the middle of a transition here at Unity, as all of you know. So I welcome the message to be interruptible, and it occurs to me that on Sunday, for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, we interrupt our week, we interrupt what's happening in our day to be here together in community and to share love and to share wisdom and compassion and some human things of fear and doubt so that we can be reminded that God is here and wanting to interrupt us. So let's be interruptible. This is the part of our service where we bless the abundance that is ours, and we turn and bless our center with our financial gifts. For those of you who are new, we are don't expect, we're not asking for a gift. For those of you who call this your spiritual home, we know that giving is an expression of our gratitude and an acknowledgement of the abundance that is in our life every moment, even when we don't recognize it. If you are joining us in person, there is a basket at the back so that we can maintain some healthy practices. For those of you who are joining us online, or who would like to make a gift in another way, the way to do so is up on the screen. As you consider your gift and recognize the abundance in your life, please join me in our offering affirmation. Offering affirmation, I can say this. I give freely and for the joy of giving. I know that seeds sown in love produce an overflowing harvest of good. For me, for this center, and for all people. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive, and so it is.
And so we give thanks for the abundance of all that we are, all that we have, all that we receive, and all that we give. We call forth the law of circulation of oneness, that as we give, so we receive. We bless these tithes and love offerings, knowing they are being used for the highest and best good for Unity of Bellevue and for all of the communities that we touch. We dedicate them to spiritual awakening and transformation here and in the Puget Sound region. We are so grateful, and so it is. So for our announcements this morning, we welcome you. If you are visiting with us for the first time, we invite you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. That's the best way to stay in touch with everything that's happening with Unity of Bellevue. You can go to our website. At the bottom of every page is a sign-up form for that weekly e-newsletter, unityofbellevue.org. We would love to hear from you. We open our hearts to you, and we are blessed by your presence. Even visiting us is a blessing to our community. So thank you for being with us. If you are new here in person, we have a welcome packet for you just to the left of the sanctuary doors that you can pick up. There's a coupon for a 20% off any gift that you'd like in the bookstore. We have a survey that's going to come out. I am intending to send that out this evening. The board would like the community's input. With the rise and the spiking of Omicron cases, we want to get your feedback as to continuing in person. We would continue live streaming from the sanctuary, but we are wondering what your thoughts and feelings are about continuing to gather in person as well. So look for that. It'll go out on in the email, the same email that service that we use for our weekly e-newsletter. And we want to have that decision made by Tuesday, so respond quickly for that. Our prayer chaplains are here to pray for you. Our prayer chaplain today is Lori Coleman. She will be in the library following service to pray with affirmative prayer, which is an awesome way to pray together and to affirm our intentions as a community, as one voice. You can also fill out a prayer request card by the south entrance and put it in the prayer box. You can fill out the prayer request form online, and you can also email them at prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org. We are doing sacred service for congregations for the homeless this month with the cold weather. If you have anything that you would like to contribute, we've got a bin out there. Warm weather items would be most appreciated. And Sarah has an announcement.
Hi, I am the chairman of the nominating committee, and we are actively pursuing and inviting people who would be willing to serve on the board of trustees to come forward. The board is seeking, and the committee, our committee, is seeking individuals who'd be willing to serve on the board to uphold the spiritual principles of the Unity of Bellevue, as well as the policies of the church. If any of you are willing to step up to fill these positions, or know of someone else who would be willing to do so, please let me know, or anyone on the board, or Monica. Thank you.
Let's close now. Thank you, Sarah. Let's close with the peace song followed by the prayer for protection.
Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, no peace
prayer of protection together. The light of God, the love of God, the power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a great week. Thank you, everybody. Blessings.
This is the year for making changes. This is the year for moving on. This is the year of overcoming. This is the year for growing strong. This is the year for a new way of thinking. This is the year for making plans. This is the year for reaching out, and this is the year for joining hands. Gone are the lonely nights of yearning, gone all the dark and cloudy skies. All the unsteady bridges burning, all of the doubt and all the lies. This is the chance to recapture the power. This is the time to abandon the fear. This is the moment, the finest hour. This is the year, this is the year. This is the year that I put into action all my desires and all of my means. This is the year that I follow my passion. This is the year of my dreams. This is the year I'm letting go of trying to change the ones I love. This is the year I turn it over. This is the year I look above. This is the year that I take my intention, turn it away from distraction and talk. This is the year I take the step, and this is the year I walk the walk. This is the year that I put into action all my desires and all of my means. This is the year that I follow my passion. This is the year of my dreams. This is the year I make it happen. This is the year I follow through. This is the year I move ahead on all of the things I want to do. This is the chance to renew my commitment. This is the time to be conscious and clear. This is the moment for living fully. This is the year, this is the year.